All right. Hey, everybody. This is Ashley.
And this is Aaron. Pull up these notes.
Aaron, look.
Keep it going.
Okay. We get this out. Hey guys, welcome back to this week's mini-sode of
A Perspective.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Aaron.
And thank you guys so much for joining us another week. We appreciate it as always.
No, never mind. Welcome.
Yes, welcome back, guys. And we're back this week to bring you a fun new mini-sode. But before we get started, Aaron, please let the people know what a mini-sode is.
A mini-sode is a smaller version of our full-length episode. We just take one portion of our regular episode and we spend a little time digging a little deeper into that part. And that's a mini-sode.
And that's a mini-sode. Okay, guys. Well, if you've been keeping up with us, you know every week with our mini-sodes, we've been covering the series The Game. And we are now on season 4. Yay. Okay. And yay. Okay. Well, as a lot of you diehard game fans know, season 4 is where we switch onto the platform BET instead of the CW. And things are a little different with this season. You can tell there are some changes. So how many years was it between season 4 and season 3? It was like, it was like two years.
I want to say it was 2. It was like a quick.
It was 2 years.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Yeah, it was long enough. I mean, we were really excited when we found out that they were coming back with a season 4.
Yes.
If only I had known what I was in store for, maybe I wouldn't have been that excited. But anyway, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm going to try to stay positive. Y'all bear with me for these next few seasons because they are not my favorite. Now, I'm not going to say there are some good, episodes, but I'm just an original game fan. But anyway, let's jump right into season 4. And we're going to start with Melanie and Derwin and the roller coaster that they went through this season. Because as always, Melanie is Melanie. Okay? Like, the season couldn't even start like mildly, but you know what I am gonna say. So when I was rewatching and the episode, okay, so in the episode 1 we see Melanie give DJ, which is Derwin's son with Janae, a DNA test, and the results come back that he is not Derwin's dad. I'm not gonna lie, when that episode first came on, like when the season 4 initially came out and I was watching, I was a little hyped because I guess I didn't want it to be Derwin's son so that Melanie, and hold on, I didn't want it to be Derwin's son because I wanted Melanie at that point in my life. There we go. Let me put some background into it. I understood Melanie and I wanted her to have this picture perfect, I guess, marriage. Looking back at it now, I was like, 1, okay, yes, I definitely remember feeling that way, but 2, I was just like, ew, like what a horrible feeling, like what a horrible thing to do. Like I always thought Melanie was wrong. Let me just put that out there. I always thought Melanie was wrong for doing that. Like it definitely could have been handled in a different way, but I guess I understand why, but she still shouldn't have did it. There we go. Were you angry at Melanie?
Let me just say, as soon as I read the description of it, as soon as I read it, it all came back to me what was happening in that episode. And when it happened, I was disappointed is the word. Disappointed. Yeah. Because it's Melanie. It is stereotypical Melanie Barnett, or Dr. Melanie Barnett, although what hospital does she work at? Like
what hospital?
Her. But man, like I think I was more upset at how she told him than that she did it. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what was like.
Yeah.
I could have smacked her like,
yeah, that was terrible.
Selfish. No, Melanie, you want what we have.
Right. Oh. And she did, and I think through season 4 we get to see that too. Like Melanie is still Melanie. She's still like not satisfied with what she has. Like she wanted to get married, I guess, before Derwin had the baby. That didn't happen, but you still ended up with Derwin and you are still not satisfied. Melanie, what is it going to take? And like you said, yeah, so let's piggyback off of the way she told Derwin. Derwin's reaction, I couldn't even be mad. Like that hole in the wall. But yes, Melanie still has to be Melanie. And in typical fashion, Melanie gets boomed in the end because Derwin was really the dad. And her friend that she got to help her out messed up the test. But it's like, and now you got to tell him, you've seen the disappointment and heartbreak in this man's face. Now you have to tell him the truth, which is he is the daddy and you didn't put him through all of this for nothing. Like the man that you supposedly love and you're going through all this. And go ahead. No, go ahead.
And once again, how she decided to tell him. How she told him was the fucked up or the messed up part about it. Oh, she just got on my nerves. Okay.
But wait, let's also go to another person in this, Janae. How do you feel about Janae's response to it?
You know, I'm all about Janae in season 4. I think, I jokingly kept saying, I don't see why people compared Janae to Condoleezza because they don't evoke the same emotions. They don't evoke the same emotions for me. Janae, you know, whatever. I'm Team Janae so far. I was Team Janae so far in this. I think she was handling it. She was putting on a brave face in front of them. She was putting on a brave face in front of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I say that because, you know, later on when she sort of bears her heart, you realize, she's even strong women have vulnerable spots, and Derwin was kind of hers. Derwin is her that is Anyway.
Father of her child.
Yes. And I think
some women that holds a lot of weight.
I was Team Janae when it came to that situation. Because Melanie was wrong. Melanie was beyond wrong. Melanie was beyond wrong. I mean, look. And I can't remember. Did Janae know that Melanie had swabbed him, or did she just assume that Derwin got him tested? Because Janae was upset. Like, they was going to court, and she was going to take Derwin to court and everything for custody, no more visitations. Like, Janae won't plan. She said, somebody has to protect us. And if it's not going to be you, one of us has to protect us. Derwin told her.
And she said that Derwin did tell her.
I think Derwin
the Melanie swap.
When he went over there that day.
Oh, yes. That's right. Okay. Because they were all, that's right. Because Melanie and Tasha and them were out and saw Janae.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't know if we were gonna get there. Melanie, he told you one thing. Stay out of that business. I mean, by this point, that's a questionable thing anyway. But you agreed to it. Leave her alone. Leave DJ alone. Stay out of it. Do nothing. She just has to be Melanie. She just had to go over there. And not only that, because she just had to thank him. And
got boomed. And got boomed, as she should have. She stayed getting boomed. Because mind your damn business. And just Melanie. Okay. Melanie frustrates me. Anyway, anything else on the DNA drama between Melanie and Derwin?
I just wrote down blank. Melanie. I don't like the word selfish, but Melanie is selfish AF.
Melonie's selfish as fuck. Oh, see? Yeah, look.
Even if you want to hate on Janae, Melanie makes it hard. Yes, Melanie makes it hard for you to hate on Janae.
Yeah.
That just...
Anything about what I was about to transition to was the episode where we see Derwin spending time with Melanie and Janae and DJ at the house, like pretty much playing this family role. Mm-hmm. And what I thought to myself was, did you not learn anything from Hill Harper? Like you didn't hear him with what he said. Like, what do you think you're doing? What does he think he's doing with that? Like, what's the purpose of that? Of playing this, like, I don't know, like of the spending the time. Like, I understand wanting to spend time with your son, but you being extra, you over Janae house cooking now. Like, y'all going out to the theme parks. What's really happening?
Once again, I think Derwin is being Derwin, in the way Melanie's being Melanie. But I can't find the justification for why he had to do that at that moment in time. He could have just said he was going to spend time with his child. I understand that. In my head, I think he thought he was doing he was trying to play the best of both. Like, he was trying to play both sides in the most humane way, or in the nicest way possible, by stringing one along and lying to the other. I don't know. Like, Derwin.
Derwin being Derwin.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of Derwin, so we also get to see in season 4 how Derwin has pretty much, for us, blown up overnight. Like, the last time we saw Ding Dong, like, yeah, he was big, but he had injured himself. You know, we didn't know the future of his career. I don't think he knew the future of his career. He was just trying to get back right. And now, you know, with season 4 opening up, we see him with the big deals with Nike. Tasha is his manager now. And Derwin has blown up. And so we get to see how not only he reacts to the stardom, but Melanie as well. But we get to see how Derwin starts to pretty much, I don't want to say be selfish, but Derwin starts to put himself first. You know, he talks about how he wants, you know, it's about, hold on, you know what I thought about? Let me say it this way. So we see Derwin start to put himself first, and it made me think about Morris Chestnut in The Best Man 2, God Family Football. Like, that's just how that Derwin gave me that that type of energy or whatever. And we see, so this kind of commingles with Malik, but we see during season 4 as well, Malik start to take a turn downhill. We see how it affects Derwin, and then we see how he responds to it. What I did not like, and I'm going into this, I did not like that Derwin wanted to end his his professional relationship with Tasha and expected Melanie to handle it. How did you feel about that? That was just something that I took note of, that I wanted, like, I just didn't, because Melanie doesn't have the professional relationship with Tasha. I mean, yes and no. Like, Melanie's just there because it's Melanie, but Derwin is Tasha's client, not Melanie. Like, she's managing Derwin Davis, not Derwin Davis and family, or, you know.
Yeah, I briefly thought about it, but now that you're saying that, I don't. So I here I go once again. I'm conflicted, because on one hand, you're right. Derwin is her client. Their relationship is the professional one, right? Like, that's where it lives. It doesn't live between Melanie. But on the other hand, Melanie was the one who convinced Tasha and Derwin who set that relationship up. So she is responsible for being there. So in that sense, I see why Derwin was like, "Yo, you're supposed to be the CEO of this household. You need to deal with that."
Nah, son, because no, sir. That's like saying I set you up. So let's say you. That's like saying I set you up with the person you choose to be with for the rest of your life or whatever. Like, I set you up with your life partner, and now I'm responsible for anything that may happen between y'all. No. I just put you on to something, or I set you up with a business or whatever, and they do you wrong. That's not on me. I mean, it's going to reflect. You may not take any more of my recommendations because you may feel some type of way. Maybe you think, maybe that sullied my recommendation. But what transpires between you and that person is now between you and that person. And whether we're married or not, like, why do I don't like that. And I think, and I think it's more because Tasha and Melanie have a personal relationship, and maybe if they didn't, then it would be a different story. But I feel like Derwin putting Melanie in that position was just not cool. Like, you ain't asked me to dismiss Dion. You ain't asked me to dismiss Irv, but now you coming at me you want me to dismiss Tasha?
Yeah, that's a whole, I mean, they're in a different position now than they were when those people were around. 1. 2, I think that there's a part of this that is, like, traditionally, when you have an agent, your agent is the one who deals with the person who's, like, paying you, right? Who wants you to do something. You're not the one negotiating the deal for whatever it is. But when it's your agent who you're having to have that sort of tough conversation with, who is the intermediary between that? And I think for him, it was his wife, because of their personal relationship, because she was the one who helped set it up. So in that, I don't fault him for it, but I can see what you're saying. But I also think that it was fine for her to do that.
I don't know. I ain't like it.
But also, Melanie. It's also like, even if they didn't have, even if they didn't have the right, like, even if you, like what you said, if they didn't have that personal relationship and Melanie went to go do it, your wife. And Melanie's ego, to me, is not built for those types of conversations, especially with Tasha, because she was just quick to want to try and flex. once again.
Can we talk about the snacks that she left out for that she had out for Tasha?
Are we gonna talk about jazz?
Listen, we're gonna go through. I'm trying to just get through everything with Melanie and Derwin first, but I do want to go back to, because my favorite episode of this whole season, since you brought up jazz, was the episode where Melanie decided that she wanted to try a threesome. That had to be the funniest episode, like hands down, like all around with everything that was going on. But the scene with her and Jazz in the club was great. Like, I love that. Jazz had me weak. And I just like that girl too. I can't think of her name. But I always thought she was so pretty. Like, even when she was back in the Drew Hill videos. Yeah, I just always thought she was so pretty. But anyway, and then Melanie getting upset because Derwin was liking what the girl was doing, but Derwin was blindfolded. He didn't even know what was going on. And Melanie going,
I wrote that down.
She didn't call him a cheater and some more shit. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot.
What did I write down?
It was fun. It was funny.
What did I write down? Okay. So about that particular episode, I said, Melanie, why are you watching them and not participating? That was my question. Bruh. So I had many different thoughts during this. I said, what? Like, can you separate, one, the question I asked was, can you separate feelings from sex? This is all from that episode. Can you separate feelings from sex? Is a threesome in a marriage actually possible? And my last question was, are feelings really the problem? Like, can you have feelings and still be able to keep it moving? Are feelings really the problem? Then I said, yes. Melanie, why are you watching them and not participating? That was the problem right there. This is not porn. Like, you are the star, not the cameraman. Right. And I said, exactly. To that part about, I said, that's an ego buster. When Derwin preferred the girl's technique over Melanie's, like, they sort of laughed it off. But in real life, would that not be like a bruise to your ego in that moment?
I don't know how I would feel if I were having a threesome and Rob like what the other girl is doing better than what I normally do. I don't know. I think I might want to see what the girl is doing and see what's different. But that's just anyway. But there are no threesomes in my marriage. I don't know if sorry. I'm just thinking about it as it's just coming. I'm speaking as I'm thinking about it. And I don't know. I don't think that I could do a threesome in my marriage. Feelings are most definitely the problem. And some people can separate feelings from sex. I am just not some people. Like, I have learned the hard way that if I have feelings for somebody and we're not together, then sex should not be a part of that relationship. Yeah. I'm just answering all the questions that you threw out there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Could I? No, I don't think me and Rob could do a threesome. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I don't think feelings are the problem. Just that last question is, I don't think feelings are the problem because, like I've said, you can't help how you feel, but you can help what you do with those feelings. So you can choose to not turn those feelings towards someone into something that creates confusion in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but that's what so to me, sex creates confusion. Like, because sex, if you already have feelings for somebody, sex just, to me, it kind of increases those feelings, especially if the sex is good. Like, that's dangerous. That's like saying you going back to sleep for 10 minutes and not setting an alarm in the morning. Like, that's dangerous. Like, you playing with fire. Yeah, just don't do. Listen, no. I don't
even have no response.
I think I'm good.
Okay, that was okay.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Anything else with Derwin and Melanie this season? I definitely like Jazz. I liked seeing Jazz with Melanie. That episode where the episode where they had the girls over, the youth girls.
Yes.
Melanie need to check herself, man. But she, once again, got boomed. As I said, Melanie always gets boomed because she needs a dose of reality.
I don't know what...
You know what I thought to myself? I'm sorry. I was just going to say, same Melanie, different financial bracket. Because now you done just got bougier. I mean, she was always like bougie mad school. But this Melanie just got like, who are you? Like, I don't know. It was too much for me.
Derwin's in a position of power because of who he is. And so that puts her in a position of power. And it's getting to her head in a way that, or it's allowing who she's been, right? To she's her mother. Mm-hmm. She's her mother. Like, when you think about it, she is her mother.
Yes.
Think about, like,
my gosh.
Melanie's not like, she comes from, well-off family. So it is allowing her to step into the shoes that her mother was. So she's getting to do what she got to see her mother do in some ways. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, actually, as I'm really not thinking about it. But Melanie, this whole season, the whole thing with Derwin and Melanie, I will say once again that I thought Derwin was wrong. I will stand by Melanie in season 1 for what has led to season 4. I mean, in season 1 for what has led to season 4. But Melanie I say this like she's a real life person, but Melanie as a person just bothers me. Melanie as a person, when it comes to Derwin, bothers me because it for as much sense as she tries to act like she has none when it comes to him. And she does only what's best for her. And even when she gets caught or gets in a weird position, her response, her apologies, her humbleness still is only for the benefit of her, not
of her
for the situation.
Come on.
And then that to me, that to me is problematic. And it feels like, I don't know, like I said, you find the right person, you can do the wrong thing, and will be right. Like, and maybe that's a good thing because none of us are perfect, right? So Derwin is the person, like I said, Derwin is the perfect person to deal with her. When she told Derwin that he was the baby, only because Janae was at that door and she saw that envelope in his hand. Janae was about to boom that ass. And that is why she told. And Derwin caught it.
And then she started crying. And then go ahead. Sorry.
You're right. And Derwin didn't, I will say Derwin appears a lot more stronger this season, but also Melanie is still his weakness too, because in that moment, like you said, she started to she definitely started to cry and do all these other things. I can't even think of the right word for what she started to do. And Derwin started to cave in that moment just a little bit, right? Like, and yes, you saw it in that same, how did you go from punching the wall to now, thank you, Melanie. Oh, I'm hitting my mic. Punching the wall because you're upset that she told you to now being thankful that she did, and now you can see it. And Janae is a liar, and Janae's like, when has Janae lied to you? So their whole thing this season, although I think because I feel this way about it, there's something to it. Whoever wrote it did something right, because I really was annoyed by them, especially Melanie.
Yeah. Sidebar, back to the episode where he finds out that the baby is his, and when he went to talk to Jason and Malik said, "Dog, you a professional NFL player. You should have had that done years ago. You could have used my account." Oh my God, I was weak. I just thought about it because I was thinking about Malik. So anyway, yes.
I wrote down too, I said Malik being the voice of reason when Durham was thinking about divorce. Like, Malik really in that moment was like, you wouldn't have known that he was having his own. You wouldn't have known like what was going to happen to him that season in that moment, because it seemed like he had it together in comparison to Jason, who
oh my God, completely fell apart this season. Yes,
but do you think
that's
he had
a good transition?
Well, do you think he had a point though? Or what did you think about what Malik was saying to Derwin about how he was handling? Is there some responsibility in some ways on Derwin for what happened? Meaning,
like what he should have had the test done years ago?
He should have had the test done years ago. Melanie should have never been in this position, essentially, in the first place, to even want to swab him. You wouldn't be doing this had you, like, you're a professional athlete. Like, you could have used my test all the time. Like, you know, what all the things that he said. Like, does Derwin bear some responsibility for what's going on?
I think it's valid. I think it's valid, and it's because also, you know, Derwin has been prone to be a little naive. I mean, look like he was about to get caught up by the turkey basting shit, you know, and Melanie just had to catch him. And I also think that, you know, in a world of professional athletes and stuff like that, they do have to be careful. You should be guarded. And that doesn't, to me, say anything against the people that they're sleeping with. It just, you know, be sure. Like, I mean, or you can be, I'm just saying professional athletes because we're talking about them, but in a world of professional athletes, yeah, I definitely think that they should have some type of protection up, or, you know, look out for themselves. So I think Malik was right in what he was saying. Yeah.
He definitely made sense.
Yes, he did. All right. So we were getting ready to transition into Jason because we were talking about completely falling apart. And in season 4, we see Jason having to come to terms with retirement, no longer being a professional football player, and how he feels about it. Like, and Jason has never been one to, I guess, really tap into his emotions. It was nice to see the conversation that he was initially having with Malik, in which we realized what's going on, but we kind of knew anyway. He was acting bitter. He's on his show with Chris Webber, and he's just bitter towards the Sabres. Like, yes, and just bitter towards like Malik and Derwin, like the stuff that he's saying about them on TV is just terrible. Like you would think that he hadn't played with them for years. So
he was fired. I don't know.
He was fired. Yeah,
how do you act when you're fired? I brought this city a championship, and
Jason, like,
pretty much
gosh,
what they said, and
if you don't know, these people do not care about you. Let me just tell you that you are good for what you are good for, and when you are no longer good for that, what can I tell you?
I mean, I thought Jason was partly wrong in that situation. He definitely bears some blame for how things went down, and a part of that is Jason doesn't he's not that self-aware, or he's too self-aware, and lacks the ability to humble himself when it comes to being truthful about what was not being what is. And so they had to let him go. I mean, yes, the boss was a boss and could have probably handled the situation better, but at the same time, Jason was just totally if you wanted to leave on a high note, you should have been acting that way, and he wasn't. And that is why.
He was being Jason.
And also too, just now that I have a better understanding of football and in a more detailed way, it is so interesting to go back and watch the season 4 and to see what was going on with Malik and see what was going on with Derwin. And now that we're talking about Jason, like to see the aging football player, the aging professional player try to try to transition out of like something that they've been doing since they were, in middle school, right? And figure out what does that look like in their life when you used to being the man and now you're not, right? Like, what does that look like?
Right.
So it just,
we don't.
It just has a different.
We don't think about those things.
We don't, right? Like I'm laughing at Jason and I'm feeling awe for him too, but the reality is like that is some real life stuff. What do you do next when that's all you've been doing?
Right. Well, for Jason, it's the dipping pits.
Yeah.
Is it
Pits and shuffle?
Pits and shuffle. Is that what it is?
Or is it
Okay.
dipping pits? Or is it? No, you're right. Dipping pit. Dip.
And dipping pits.
God.
And dipping pits. He embarrassed himself. I felt that was one of the worst times. I mean, that was the time I actually felt that bad for him.
Oh.
Also, speaking of Jason, let's talk about Kelly. So we see Kelly be so annoying this season because now she is doing a reality show. As she is also a has-been for real this season, like right along with Jason. I mean, her husband, she's no longer married to him and he's no longer the Saber star either anyway. So she is, I guess, trying to make a name for herself. Now, I will say Kelly's hair this season, I love that cut.
Yeah.
But I need to look it up because I can't remember. And I think it was this season at some point, the actress Brittany Daniels, I can't remember if she got sick or she was pregnant. I don't know. She was just out of the season and her twin sister was filling in for her. And so I'm wondering, is this her twin sister with the short cut? Because I don't recall Brittany Daniels ever cutting her hair. Sweet Valley, man. Sweet Valley. That was my... Did you watch that?
No.
Oh man, Sweet Valley. And I used to read the books. But anyway, yes. So I'm just wondering. But yes, so we see Kelly going through trying to find herself, like she had been Jason's wife for years. She was Mrs. Kelly Pitts. Then that's over and she's trying to do this reality show, which is really failing because no one's really that interested, I guess, in knowing what's going on in her life. And then we get to see Britt Brat, who is no longer Britt Brat. I don't know who the fuck this girl is. And I don't know who they expect us to believe she is.
Who thinks she's 13?
It only been
13 where?
How could Britt Brat be 13? I need to know. We had 3 seasons, and I could have sworn that little girl was like, what, 8 the last time we seen her?
What?
9 at most?
You're right. 9? Maybe?
Britt Brat was not that old. Let me just tell you that. And now we looking at this grown-ass teenager.
That's a 17-year-old, okay? That's a high school junior.
Gotta be. Like, no. No. But we also see the start of, I guess, Jason's going to have to be a dad because Kelly is having a breakdown and says she just need time away. So who's she leaving Brittany with? Jason, her daddy. Another hilarious episode. Her and Tasha.
Oh my gosh. I wrote that. That was one of the most funny. That to me was one of the funniest episodes this season for some reason. And I said,
oh, really?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
The spanking?
I have thoughts overall about the season. And I'll get to that later. But that was one of the funnier episodes of the season to me. Because it was Tasha getting to shine. Like that interaction was good. Although I didn't appreciate the, never mind. I don't even know what I wrote down.
Well, speaking of Tasha, that is actually a good, another good segue, because I was going to talk about the beef between Kelly and Tasha, and then we can just go ahead and roll into that. Okay. First of all, I don't know if I like the way that they handled the Kelly and Tasha thing, because I doubt Tasha was really that scared of Kelly Pitts just because she got sucker punched once, and that whole the apology.
Oh. MJ.
You know my face. You know my face. You know my face.
I laughed.
Oh, yeah, I definitely. But you know, my face was like, oh girl, don't play these games with me. Like, but I guess, but we do get to see. So if you guys remember,
what she said.
Listen, at the end of season 3, if you guys remember, Kelly had punched Tasha out when finding out that Kelly had punched Tasha out after she found out that Tasha was the one who introduced Jason to Camille. And so in season 3, supposedly Tasha is scared of Kelly coming around and hitting her again, to the point that she's even had nightmares. But we do see them make up, and then all of them go right back to their normal ways, which is kind of what this season needed, but also it just seemed like it was just forced. I don't know. There was some moment.
I appreciate it. I wrote down that the three of them together works with, like, their chemistry, roles or whatever characters on this show are.
Oh, definitely.
That you're right. Is it what the season needed? It is the show. I think those three, when they are on screen, which was a lot more in the first 3 seasons than it was in this 4th season, like, was a large part to me of why it was good. Not the only reason, maybe not even the main reason. I don't know, you decide. But I just think that it definitely was missing, because it was nice to see when I saw it towards the end.
Yes, I agree with that. Also, speaking of them, since we're just talking about their dynamics, I just would like to say, regardless of this being on BET and how I feel about that, the budget seemed to be higher, and all of them looked really good to me this season. Tasha, really, like, I was going to talk about this when I started talking about Tasha, because I thought Wendy Raquel looked really good this season. Like, she was just, to me, owning the character of Tasha. It was nice to see. I don't know. It was almost like she got more shine for some reason. And I loved it. I was good with it. I mean, Tasha is Tasha, and she's always going to be Tasha. Like, I was about to refer to her welcome back. Pow pow, but anyway, that's later down the line. But she's always gonna be Tasha, and I just really appreciated her this season. So speaking of Tasha, we get to see her have some new love interests this season. The first one is Terrence J, little young thing, which I liked. You liked
what?
I liked the dynamic between her and what's his name?
Dante.
Terrence J. Dante. I like Tasha and Dante together, but I think Tasha definitely had her insecurities. Like I said, we get to see Tasha grow this season. How did you feel about their relationship?
How did you feel about Dante's acting? That's what I want. Let me stop.
You are not gonna do it, but you know what? Because I was gonna say that birthday episode, it was just terrible. It was just terrible.
You mean when he popped back up?
Yes.
Actually, I thought that was the better of the episode of him.
Did you?
Well, okay. How did I feel about your question? How did I feel about their relationship? I thought their relationship overall was good. Like, when I think about it, I appreciated their storyline this season, or their story, whatever. Their storyline this season, and. So yeah, I liked it. I thought that Tasha, man, it's so interesting to watch some of these storylines and how I can reflect on how I thought about them back then versus how I'm looking at them now. And one of them is Tasha needing to go prove to Rick Fox that she was over him, and that whole needing to lie to Dante, Terrence J, and go tell, and sneak out. And when he popped up, and how she reacted. Like, I thought Dante was a gentleman. And I think I thought that back then too. I thought that he really did like her, and I thought that he really was invested in her. I question, just the same way I do with Brit Brat, Terrence J playing a 24-year-old, but that's just me.
Wait, how old was he playing this role? He was in his 20s, wasn't he?
Oh, I don't know. Was he 24?
I don't know, Aaron. Let me look it up. You being petty.
You tell me, but I just didn't see 24-year-old. Because I really question sometimes, what do they want us to believe are these ages? It goes back to like how people point out, did you really think those were high school people in Greece?
Oh, hell no. I mean, yeah, well, back then, yes. But now, like, oh my God.
Do you really believe Britt Brad is 13? Does that really look like a 13-year-old? Does she look like she's going to junior prom and she picked out she took her senior photos? Like, come on now.
Let me see. So back in, hold on now. Let me look at his age. So this season came out in 2011. He's 39 now. So that was 10 years ago. Oh, he was 28.
I mean, it's not far off. It is not far off, but I appreciated it. There were just certain things about about them. I'm just nitpicking. I
mean, yeah. I thought it was cute. Yeah, I did think their relationship was cute. I so agree with you about Tasha and Rick. That I didn't even realize that Rick was in this season. And then I thought about it later and was like, wait a minute, this nigga just. Anyway, toxic relationships. Anyway, so we see. Sorry, back on Tasha's relationships. So yeah, so we see Tasha with Terrence J or Dante. We see her we see her with Rick, and then we see her with Bo, which is the terminally ill. Listen, I remember when I watched it back then, I thought he was lying, but then rewatching it now though, like I was still weak. She said when she found out that Bo. Oh, wait. That didn't happen in this season. Did I keep going today? I think I kept going. Did she find out about Bo in this season?
Yes. She was out with... who was she out with? And she ran in the kid and she saw...
Yes. Okay. Got you. Okay. Yes. So even back then, I thought it was... I knew he was lying. But then when Tasha found her... I was so weak, though. When she said the old Tasha would have went to the car and got her gun and shot you and your ass, your wife and kid.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, old Tasha sound like old Ashley. Okay, that's all I can say. I got weak. But just that level of pettiness is what I'm thinking. Just that level of pettiness. But basically, that's basically what she said. But yes, that was all interesting. But yes, anyway, it was still nice to see Tasha's growth through season 4. I appreciated it. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, and let's wrap it up with Malik. See, I saved Malik to the last because Malik this season, this is just not the turn that I thought we were going with Malik, but okay. It was still good. There were good moments.
It just had no bright spots the whole season.
Yeah, Malik, man, like from the drinking, from how he did TT, from the career, the chick, like just the complete fall off. And I guess I understand that route because of what they're trying to portray or what we're seeing, but also it's just like, dang, Malik, like, why Malik? I love Malik.
It's like, dang, this is a comedy, okay? That's what I kept saying. This is a comedy.
It's a dramedy, Aaron.
No, not the game, okay? The game is a comedy. Comedy first. And Malik had where was the bright spot in his season? Or the laughing part? Like I don't know if I'm using the right word, but like just where was
I know what you mean.
Where was it? Even Derwin and Melanie had it. With all that mess. Even they had it.
Yeah, they still had their moments. But, Malik was he was going through a lot this season. And what can you do?
I will say,
I don't know.
Rewatching that again, I once again appreciated TT. And
always.
The role that he plays in both Tasha and Malik's life. And his family. Yeah. So you're right. It was fucked up for Malik to cheat, to take that girl and
sleep with that girl. Man, that was so effed up. And the way TT saw it.
Although I will say, looking at the season and knowing sort of what was going, watching it again, I immediately could spot that Malik was going through something and that he was just not in a good space and he was just lashing out, right? Like, he was no longer, what did somebody say at one point? Like, the aging quarterback who's always injured. Like, that is a different headspace to be in, especially when you're not in the space of, like, Jason Pitts and you're on your way out. You're still in a good, like, you still have time left. You just signed another contract, so you know you're still in the game. But to not be in the spotlight like he was is just not. It can be. He was not prepared for that, and he did not have the tools to deal with that. But it also wasn't other people's responsibility to deal with how he was reacting. But I could just see that too. It was just not good for him this season. It was just not good.
Yeah, and I mean, even at the end, definitely got the raw deal. But what did he expect, dude? Like, you was sleeping with the owner's wife, like the team manager's wife or whatever. No, he was the owner. Yeah, Roger was the owner. You were sleeping with the owner's wife. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Nothing good was going to come from that. But like you said, he was in a bad place, and I think he was just lashing out.
Though, I will say, by the point that Roger, whatever that man, what is his real name? The husband that fucked the husband. That's how I think of him. The family fucked the family. Sorry. By the time he had found out, Malik had tried to let that go. Like, he was almost being extorted for sex, like extorted / rape, like, or sexually, like, being taken advantage of. Yeah. So in that sense, if it had gone the way Malik had tried to carry it out, then
Roger might not have known.
Then you could have chalked it up to just being a moment. Yeah, Malik was wrong because the woman was in a marriage, but really Malik was single, and he ended it when he got into. Malik did the right thing when he got into a committed relationship. So
Malik was never doing the right thing. I don't care about her marriage status, nigga. That's your boss. Like, you putting your career in jeopardy like that. It just makes no sense. He could have found out at any moment, and then that could have been an interview, whether you were trying to be committed or not, and you're messing with your own pockets. That's crazy to me.
And then look how he found out. God dang.
Right. Right.
That's why you don't shit where you eat, isn't it? That's exactly why they say that.
Exactly.
Oh, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right, Ashley. It's coming to me now.
You should have just found somebody else to keep your dick in your like. I mean, just come on, sir. Come on, Malik. You better than that. He just better than that. But anyway. Yeah, but anyway, at the end, we do see, so Roger done pretty much screwed Malik out of any other chances of being a star on the Sabres. So he's saying. Tasha has taken Malik back as a client. And now we have to wait. And, season 4 was short. It was only 13 episodes. So now we have to wait for season 5 to see what happens next. Great.
Which is longer, right?
Season 5 has 22 episodes.
And that must be the season that Derwin and them leave.
Actually, I think it's the season that Melanie leaves, but Derwin doesn't leave until season 6.
Okay.
I mean, like, leaves. I mean, you can technically say he left in season 5 because I think he only has 2 episodes in season 6. Yeah. He's in the beginning of season 6, and that's it. The first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
The blueprint.
Blue.
Mm-hmm. We're not there yet. Just relax. We got a whole nother season, guys.
Is Chardonnay in season 5?
I believe Chardonnay is in season 5.
Okay.
And that's that. Wait, no. Is Chardonnay in season 5 or season 6?
Then I really don't know what season 5 is about. Then I don't see.
Nah, Chardonnay is not in season 5.
Wait
a minute. No. Chardonnay is not in season 5. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, she is in season 5.
What is Jason's storyline?
Okay.
If she's not.
Well, now Jason is considered like a special guest. At this point.
Okay.
Kobe Bell is a special guest. He's not But I think he returns back to a reoccurring character sometime in season 5. Okay. And I'm pretty sure it's with Chardonnay, so we'll see. All right, guys. Well, as you can see, the game is just going to get hopefully more interesting from here. Season 4 was good for what it was, I guess, for trying to get our toes wet back into the game. You know what I mean? Like, it had been 2 years. The BET brought it back, and we were pretty grateful for that. Like, it had been, like I said, 2 years, and we didn't get good resolutions for some of our beloved characters. So, we're looking forward to season 5. Oh, here's the thing that I missed that I wanted to talk about with Melanie and Derwin real quick. Melanie's parents and the way that they was acting towards Derwin now that he all famous. If that ain't some shit, if that ain't the epitome of don't you marry that man, he ain't no good, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as he can do something for you, Oh, what up, son? Hey, son. Call me dad. Call me mom. What? Come on. I ain't like that.
Complete 180.
I ain't like that. But, I mean, that's reality. It is reality. But, yes. So, Aaron, any points to wrap up season 4?
Okay, so I think that season 4, when I got to the end, I thought that it was actually a good piece of work. I could appreciate the storylines. I could appreciate the direction that they were going in. I could appreciate the drama, the highs and the lows. Like, I really thought, this was good. It's just not what I thought I was going to be getting from the game at the time. I'm with you. I could appreciate like the game. Oh, actually, let me take a step back. When the first scene started, as soon as I heard the music, actually, I started smiling because for some reason I could remember the feeling of like, man, the game is back. Like I could remember like what I was thinking about back then. And I started smiling. Like it was just like, like this is season 4. Like the game is back. I remember smiling, like being excited about it. So I will say that happened again when I was watching it. But I also knew, and especially as it was going, like I feel like the first few episodes of season 4 felt rough. Like it was very bumpy to me in terms of I couldn't quite understand what was going on.
There was no laugh track. It wasn't no laugh
track.
Yes!
That's exactly what I wrote down too. That was going to be my next point. I wrote down they need a laugh track because it felt like even if I laugh at points, sometimes the laugh track just does wonders. And you don't. And I didn't realize that until I was rewatching it again. And I was like, dang. Where's that laugh track at? Like they needed it throughout. Though I'd rather you have more laugh tracks than none. Because I wrote down Tasha Mack. What I did notice this season too, because what we know now is that what is her real name? But Kelly was having personal issues in her real life, so that limited her screen time. I think that probably shaped how her character and Jason's storyline was written, right? But I said Tasha needed a person to play off of, and since Kelly wasn't in the season that much, Jazz to me was sort of that step-in person at times. That's also why to me Tasha's role got elevated, and I think that that's a part of why her storyline got more dramatic in a way. Like, but I mean, she was still Tasha anyway. I wrote down, this was the season that, like, things have shifted season. Jason is an aging football player. The $40 million kid hasn't grown up yet, and, like, Derwin is boom. Oh, this is the question I wrote down. Do you think it was, okay, for all the cotton swaps stuff that happened that Melanie did, do you think it was fair or right for Derwin to tell Melanie that she is to have no involvement in his relationship, in DJ's life? Like, that is strictly on him? Like, is it possible to be married to someone with a child and have no involvement in that child's life?
I don't know if that's possible. Actually, I think it could be possible, but I think it would be weird. But I stand by Derwin for saying that, because if you gonna be around my child that I have with someone else and your instinct is to swap them because you're unsure about their, I guess, connection to me or their relation to me or whatever the case may be, then no, I don't want you around my child. That's just crazy. So she was basically being punished, as she should have been.
And now making her go to church. I was with her when some of those requests just felt. I was with them, but it's also like I just questioned, like, is this what you got to go through? Are these the things that have to happen to sustain something?
I mean, well, think about the trust that she's broken. So, I mean, you should be happy that I'm willing to even give you these chances, because you can go.
To which, in that big house, why does she need to go stay somewhere else? Why can't she just go to another part of the house? I don't know. That's just me. I wrote down TT took acting classes for season 4, and I appreciated them because he got he got more lines in season 4 than what he had previously. I don't get why. I don't get why Derwin didn't go. I don't get why I think he was messed up for standing Malik up. I think when he committed to go, he should have shown up. And if he wasn't going to go, he should have, right? We say honesty saves everybody time. And so when Malik called him and he was having reservations, he should have said no at that time. It seemed like Melanie had whatever, put her spin on it and given it a different like perspective. And yet he just couldn't bring himself to say something. I get his rationale for not wanting to do it. I can understand that. Like, you should have just been honest with Malik.
That was hurtful.
Last thing is episode 6 when Janae went off on Derwin and told, and when she went off on Derwin, she told no lies. Like, I felt for Janae in that moment. Like, I've been rooting for Janae this season. I've been like, God, yeah, she's like sticking it to him. But you could see like her vulnerability. Like I said, there's some people just bring out a certain like level of vulnerability that you can't even describe. And if they don't do something with it in the right way, or if they don't handle it the right way, it like is bad. And Derwin is not the right person for her to be vulnerable with, yet she still is. And as much as she knew that man is a whole married man, she still was playing house and was enjoying that whole time that he was coming over there. Like, Tika Sumpter, she really was in season 4 like that. I don't know what, that completely went over my head until I saw her. And then I was like, oh, she was a whole character in season 4. What? Which, once again, I don't know, comparison to the Thief of Joy, but I believed Megan Good in this season. I believed Megan Good. It was slightly tough sometimes for Terrence J.
I think she was good. I like Megan Good though. I think she's pretty much good in everything she does. So.
Yes, she plays
like she does. She at least understands the assignments, and she may not give you a lot of like feeling drama type stuff, but she's good for what she does.
When Malik snuck out of rehab and swung on Derwin, that was sad to watch. Like that. Like I said, this season was like very like, I was almost about to compare it to like the more serious season of Girlfriends, but it all makes sense. Like it all makes sense. To which Maya's mama was doing Tasha's hair.
Yes, she was. They keep it in the family. Girlfriends, the game. That's where it started.
Yes, I wrote down. Yes, Britt Brat. She is a hypocrite. Because when Britt Brat called, when Kelly had those pictures posted, and then all of a sudden, I guess Britt Brat was reposted. Britt Brat had taken the pictures in her swimsuit, and she was calling her mom a hypocrite for telling her not to do that. I was like, yes, Britt Brat, she is a hypocrite. And when you become an adult, you can be one too. Like, until then, listen to your mama. Like, what? Be quiet. I just wanted to smack Britt Brat sometimes. This was a question I asked because you talked about that you could tell the bigger budget this season. I wonder, did that have a negative impact on the season? Because they had a better, like, I don't know, the lesser quality sort of played into the way in which they told the story, and the better budget, I don't know, didn't quite fit.
So you're trying to say they spent more money on the wardrobe than they did the writers?
I wasn't even, okay. But I appreciated, like, what they were trying to tell. I appreciated the story. It felt more like it should have gone to, I didn't want to say this, but it felt like it could have been more Insecure. That's where they were trying to get to. That's not where the direction they should have been going. They should have stayed more. I don't know. Okay, I wrote this down. I called this the tie-over season because I think not having Kelly, not knowing what was going on. Now they're bringing in Chardonnay. Maybe next season when they're gonna really get their footing. Like towards the end of season 4, I felt like they started to get something going. So maybe in season 5 they're gonna be able to carry that. Last thing I wrote was I said I don't know how I feel about the way they wrote the relationship between Tasha and Weed. I didn't quite it's so interesting how people have viewed things back then versus how they view it now when we look at like Weed is almost legal everywhere, and even on the game. Oh, you said Weed. I
thought you said her weave.
Oh no. And even on the game, Tasha almost looks like an addict, and Britt Brat is like this whole thing. And now you can buy it at the corner store. Like, it's interesting to see how that looked back then. That was it. Oh, that was sweet of Dante to show up. What corner
store you go to.
Well, that was sweet of Dante to show up. You're right. That was so sweet of him to show up in that moment. Like, that's why I like that episode. I think it was good compared to some of the other ones that they were in. That's all I got. So they referenced Will and Jada, which I thought was funny. Now it's when you look back at these things and now that time has gone by, somebody referenced a Will and Jada love.
TT.
That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I got. That was an ego, but yes.
All right, guys. Well, we would love to hear your feedback too on season 4 of the game. Again, for all of our diehard game fans out there, what are you guys thinking? How did you feel about season 4 when you got there? How do you feel about season 4 when you rewatch it? Do you agree or disagree with some of our opinions? Let us know. You can find us on Instagram at @aperspective__. You can email us aperspective@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook, A Perspective with Aaron and Ashley.
And make sure that you tell 5 people and tell them to tell 5 people as well. We genuinely appreciate the support that you all show us every week. And that's because you show up, you show out, and you participate. So thank you.
Yes, thank you guys so much. We hope you have a great week. And remember, if you change your perspective,
you can change your outcome.
Bye. Da da da.